Do you find yourself distracted often? Today, we're talking about a simple and free way that you can boost your memory and attention, and it's something that you can do anywhere.
Hey everyone, this is Aaron and Juwon, and you're listening to Wellness for Real People. This show is for people who are on the go, busy, and looking for ways to live their best lives. We focus on wellness topics in mindfulness, exercise, diet, and sleep, and share quick, actionable tactics to improve your health and wellness. We're not perfect, but we're trying to get a little better each day. Let's grow on this journey together.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm here with my co host, Juwon, and we are here with another episode of Wellness for Real People. And today we're talking about an article from Harvard Health called The Simple Memory and Attention Booster You Can Do Anywhere for Free. And this is another one of our episodes that's going to focus on mindfulness and how you can incorporate that in your day to day life. So the article kind of kicks things off and really just discussing things that you would maybe do on a normal day. When you're walking down the street, do you really pay attention to the sights you see along the way, noticing the types of trees, sunlight filtering through their branches, or the birds that are singing in the trees, or any of those things? And in today's world, I feel like we're overly distracted. We easily miss those important things that are happening around us. And there's so much going on that we start to see a decline in attention and then also retention in our memory. And as we get older, those things are only going to get more and more challenging. So today we're talking about one way to boost that through mindfulness. So, Juwan, any initial thoughts on the article as we kick things off?
Yeah, I like the way that the author started it off. You mentioned it. I'm personally just so busy being busy all the time. I've got notifications for so many different things happening and, constantly on my phone checking this or looking at that or scrolling through
Yeah.
this or trying to answer back to that. And, just finding myself always perpetually distracted,
Yes.
so I think there's definitely a war going on for they call it the attention economy, right? For our attention, and
Hmm.
having a young child, um, I- it's a constant reminder of the importance of just being present, right,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
appreciating the moment and enjoying these fleeting moments because things move so fast, life happens so fast, and so I really enjoyed reading through this article and just another reminder about the importance of just being present.
Yeah, and I think it kicks off really nicely too, and something that now we're 40 episodes deep, we haven't really addressed like just some of the basics again. And the topic of the article starts back with just what is mindfulness and having that discussion again. And something I think I need to refresh myself with because I think about all these other things when it comes to mindfulness, but really this article helped me just kind of backtrack a little bit and get a little more focused on what it really is. And so the article shares that mindfulness is the practice of focusing on the present moment, which is something that, like you said, is very hard to do. It involves being fully aware of everything around you and within you: sights, sounds, smells, touches, anything you might be experiencing, as well as those feelings and thoughts that you're having internally. So it's not necessary to judge and analyze that information, only to observe it as it comes in and as it goes. And so just to be aware of it, not necessarily trying to do something with it. And so it goes on to describe some other things and exercises that happen as a result of taking that time to be in the present moment. It can reduce stress, and that in turn leads to sharper thinking. It kind of gets you away from that adrenaline state where you're just always in fight or flight mode and you're always trying to solve the problem and immediately address whatever's going on, which might be leading you to being stressed out, feeling overwhelmed and overworked. And without that stress hormone and those distractions or whatever's causing the stress, your mind is able to focus and focus attention on what's present and what you need to remember versus just constantly being in that state of zeroing in on issues and problems and all the things that are going on. So I thought that was a kind of a cool way to start things, just centering it back on the topic. What even is mindfulness?
Yeah, yeah. It's been a really stressful week for me personally. I've had a lot going on at work, a lot of change happening there, and then a lot of stuff going on around my home and projects going on around the house.
Yes.
And then I was, under the weather for a little bit, so I wasn't feeling well. So it's just a lot going on, and so I really like you said, getting back to the basics of being present, right?
Yeah.
You know, I really appreciated the way that the author talked about, you know, what's going on physiologically. Like you mentioned, we're in that constant stress state or fight or flight mode. You know, they talked about, you know, the increase in adrenaline and cortisol that's flowing through your body when you're really stressed out. And when we can be mindful, take a breath and just kind of slow down for a little bit, right? We can reduce some of those hormones, which can help lower the heart rate, lower blood pressure, and you know, get that breathing rate back down to, you know, a normal range. And so it is good just to feel good, like, you know, just talking about it, you know, anecdotally. But then also it's very interesting to see hear the science behind it physiologically, like what's going on actually within your body when you can, you know, slow down a little bit and, you know, calm the mind, calm the body, calm the spirit.
Yeah, and the article goes on to describe some studies that happened back in 2021 with some of the participants. 81 participants that are over the age of 60 took part in a 6-month mindfulness training, found they were better able to maintain attention. It also showed that brain changes that can help them process information and focus better. So at age 60, you know that things are fuzzier, things are a little tougher to remember. But even at our age, in our state, and what we have going on, just think about how beneficial that is currently with everything that we have going on. So the article goes on to describe why it's important right now. And it just, you know, puts it bluntly, our brains are aging every day. There's more draws on our attention. Our memory gets worse and worse. And sometimes you might not be paying attention to details all the time. And normally that's okay. But like you said, when you're having a tough week or there's 100 different things going on with personal life, work life, and everything else around the world, you might miss something. And well, that's typically never catastrophic. It just adds more stress down the road. But I've even found for myself, just having those things where it's like I'm a little less stressed, a little bit more intentional and mindful about what I'm doing. I don't feel as overwhelmed at work most of the time, where it's like, okay, I can step back and take a full picture of everything that's going on and prioritize what needs to happen when. Then I don't feel like I'm constantly putting out fires and being stressed out. Of course, you're going to have those stressful times. That's just life. That's just how it is. That's just the world we live in. But if you can set yourself up to avoid that, I think that's what the article is trying to say, why it's important to take those little breaks in those moments to try to breathe and focus on the present moment. And it'll help you to really see clearly through all the other things that are going on. So it kind of ends the article with a quick way to give it a try. So it's a lot of different ways you can do mindfulness, but sometimes one of the things they say is pretty simple is going on a mindful walk. That has two benefits, right? You're getting your steps in and you're being a little bit more healthy than just sitting around and dwelling on what's going on. But also, when you're on that walk, paying attention to the trees, paying attention to the grass, paying attention to just the little things that you typically avoid and just savoring those moments versus just being in your head about all the other things that's going on. Focus on your breathing, just, you know, calmly breathing and like looking at the way things are moving around you. Just the really simple things to try to practice on that walk to get you away from all the other stress and things that are going on.
Yeah, I love that suggestion. Um, you know, I have a habit when I go on my walks to bring my headphones and I'm listening to something, catching up on a podcast, or
Yep.
listen to some music, or I'll take a call while I'm moving, you know, just to stay busy. But, you know, I think it's really important. This is a good reminder that I don't have to do that every time I go for a walk. Like sometimes it's just good just to just be, like you said, just
Yes.
be and observe, and yeah, just be present with the day and the time. And yeah, and so I thought that was a tremendous challenge or exercise to incorporate into my, you know, my, I want to incorporate more into my weekly practice. Yeah, it's just smart. It's like you said, it's at the top. It's just a free something that's free. It's a simple thing. It's so easy to do that it's sometimes easy to forget, you know. But
Yes.
hopefully, you found this article, you know, this conversation, this article helpful if you're watching this or reading the blog online, and you know, just one more tool that we have in our tool belt to, you know, live a happy, healthy life.
Yeah. So we'll close it there. We'll keep it short and simple here. Go on that walk and focus just on being present in that moment and not this podcast or anything else going on in your world. But with that, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with another episode for Wellness for Real People, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.